convene the City of Statesboro's City Council meeting. We'll have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by Councilmember Venus Mack.
Bow your heads. Dear Lord, I want to first thank you for this day. I want to ask you to watch over everyone in this meeting and help the council to make decisions to better the City of Statesboro. I ask that you bless everyone under the sound of my voice. Lord, with all of this going on with the coronavirus, I ask that you protect every resident in the City of Statesboro. I ask that you protect everyone affected by the virus, everyone in the United States, and everyone in the world. I ask all of these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right, we move down to agenda item 3, recognition and public presentations. Are there any?
No, Mayor.
Okay. All right, we'll move down to agenda item 4. Are there any public comments?
No, Mayor.
Okay, we'll move down to agenda item 5, which is consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda, which is the approval of minutes from our March 3rd, 2020 council minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let it show that agenda item 5 has passed. We'll move down to agenda item 6, which is consideration of a motion to award a department-owned firearm to retiring Lieutenant Mike Chappell after 33 years of exemplary service. All right, so number 6 is quite explanatory. Is there a motion to approve?
If nobody moves to approve this, does he have to stay with the force?
Yes, he does. Yeah,
Big loss.
yeah, I know,
Big loss.
I know. I hate to see him go too. So, John, would
So
you like to
moved.
make a motion? All right.
So moved.
There's a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let it show that agenda item 6 has passed. We'll go down to agenda item 7, which is consideration of a motion to approve the submission of a grant application by the Statesboro Police Department to the U.S. Department of Justice. Mr. Penny, if you'd give us a little insight.
Mayor, I'm sorry. How long is Mike before he's retired?
I think he's
What's his last
retired
day?
April 1st. He'll be
Yeah.
retired April 1st.
Okay, maybe
wow.
when all this is blown over, we bring him back in and actually get the picture where we can all be within 6 feet of each other, huh?
Yeah.
We can force him
Sounds
to
like a
do
great
that.
idea. Sounds like a
Okay.
great idea. He might retire and tell us how he really feels about us. So,
Actually, that'd be fun.
yeah, as long as he take the picture, right?
That'd be fun.
Absolutely. Mr. Penny, if you will.
Mayor and members of the council, the police department is interested in applying for a grant from the Department of Justice in the amount of $78,430. Those funds can be used to assist the police department in a number of ways, but I think with the greatest interest in helping to recruit and helping to diversify the police department. So we're asking your permission to be able to submit the paperwork for this grant, and I recommend it to you.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions by council? Seeing that there's no questions by council, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let it show that agenda item 7 has passed. As a point of information, we will go into agenda item 8, but all public hearing items following agenda item 8 will be consolidated and opened up into one hearing, giving the council the opportunity to ask any questions if they see fit. Agenda item 8 is a public hearing in consideration of a motion to approve application for an alcohol license, section 6-13A, for V&V Brothers LLC, doing business as the VIP store on 301 North Main Street. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, Jason. Where's Jason? Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Any issues in regards to the application?
No issues, sir.
All right, Chief Graham,
No issues.
Chief Broadhead,
No issues, sir.
Kane.
No issues, Mayor.
All right, is there anyone here to speak for this request? Is there anyone here to speak against the request? Seeing that there are none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, is there any discussion by council? Seeing that there's no discussion by council, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
And we're just approving number 8 right now?
Yeah, just number 8. Is that second? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, we'll move down to agenda item 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so we're going to open the public hearing for agenda items 9, 10, 11, and 12. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Staff, are there any, what is the recommendation by staff on 9, 10, 11, and 12?
Recommend approval. Planning Commission unanimously approved.
Unanimously approved by the planning commission and by staff.
Correct.
All right, is there any discussion beyond that? Okay, with that being said, let us close agenda items 9, 10, and 11, and 12 so that we can move into council discussion. Is there a motion to close those items?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, now we will open that up for council discussion for items 9, 10, and 11, and 12.
Jason, just because we're going through this real quick, can you explain why no sidewalks at 239 South Main and why not 672 South College Street? Could you explain why?
Sure, on the South Main.
I know the sidewalks this time.
That's right, part of the Article 30 design standard. So on the South Main property, they're currently, we're talking about the south side property frontage along West Jones and the west side property frontage along Walnut Street. And so the property to the north basically leads to nowhere, so it would be a sidewalk that doesn't have any continuity going to the north. That would be burdensome for pedestrians on the sidewalk. And a similar case also on the south frontage, and also across the street on West Jones, we currently have a project for a sidewalk under design along the south side of West Jones, from South Main Street toward Johnson Street.
Okay.
And then on the South College property, the developer is seeking to create some buffer, if you will, in that area. And then to install the sidewalk in that area would require removal of that buffer, widening of the shoulder, relocation of the ditch, and again, there's no continuity from the sidewalk network because it's so isolated in that area with anything to the north or to the south.
So it won't affect future connection to the Creek project or anything?
Not in the foreseeable future.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there's no further discussion by council, is there a motion to approve 9, 10, 11, 12, A, B, C, D, E, and F?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 13, which is other business from city council. Kane, if you will, give us some insight.
Mayor, if I may pass these revisions out to council. This right here. Thank you all.
All right.
We will leave it.
I didn't get one, Kane.
Take that.
Everyone got one?
Yes.
Okay. So, Mayor and Council, at the work session, we had discussed the need to revise/replace Chapter 30 of our Code of Ordinances. The current one is just inadequate and outdated. So, the one I presented is modeled after both the GMA model emergency management ordinance as well as the City of Savannah's, which came after the GMA model ordinance was distributed. So what this does is it creates the power for the mayor to unilaterally designate declare a state of emergency. The purpose of this is there are lots of purposes to this. One is, in the event that there is an extremely localized emergency that is not going to rise to the level of national, state, or even county emergency, this allows us to do a local emergency in order to get disaster relief funds. Furthermore, what it does really is it explains and empowers the mayor and city manager to perform certain functions upon the declaration of a state of emergency. It allows the mayor to designate those powers that he has to the city manager, and the city manager has certain powers. And the declaration would need to be confirmed by city council at either a special called meeting, which would be called under regular called meetings under the charter, which is 2 council members, or the mayor calls it. So at the next meeting, council could either confirm or deny the declaration of emergency by the mayor. But the most important thing this does is this really sets out a mechanism for utilizing and delegating the powers that are already there under the Georgia Emergency Management Act of 1981. It's just a much more streamlined, less cumbersome process than before. So the one originally presented at the work session upon recommendation by Councilman Boyd and approval by the present members of council was that there would be a slight revision to section 30-3F, which is a continuance of the local state of emergency, which states that the declaration of emergency is valid for 30 days. And then it shall not continue for longer than that unless renewed by the mayor and confirmed by a majority of a quorum of city council. So there's certainly mayoral powers, but there are also council checks on it. And like I said, the most important thing is that we have something, and that this is tried and tested. This is the GMA model ordinance and the one that Savannah enacted after, I believe, Hurricane Matthew. So one sticking point we have is the typical ordinance presentation, which is that y'all have to tell us to do it, and we bring it back for first reading, and then second reading and approval. So that typically requires 3 meetings under section 224 of City Code of Ordinances. However, upon recommendation, that section 224 allows that upon recommendation of city staff, which we are recommending, and unanimous vote of council, that all those formalities can be waived, which would allow this to be immediately effective and would allow for the mayor to declare a local state of emergency and enact those powers, particularly those powers regarding waiving certain process and dues, especially as to procurement by the city, and also to activate emergency plans, to close or restrict areas and enact curfews during an emergency, to prohibit price gouging, and it also sets forth the fine schedule, which is $1,000 per violation, and how this can be enforced. And I'll take any questions that y'all have, because I know y'all weren't there for this, and we're asking for unanimous decision today. So if there's any questions that y'all have, please.
All right. Thank you, Kane. All right, any discussion by council?
This is the same thing that was emailed to me, except for the 30 days.
38-3F is the only revision, and that just requires council confirmation for extending the state of emergency beyond 30 days.
It's fine with me.
Okay.
All right, any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
First, we need a motion to suspend the standard ordinance rules.
Is that right?
We could do, I think a motion to approve and waive the formalities of 224.
Okay. All right, is there a motion to approve and waive the formalities of 224?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Now we
Let's
vote on the ordinance, or is it, you just do the?
I think we just bundled it.
We just did
That was a motion to approve with 224.
And to waive the formalities.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as it was a unanimous decision, it is immediately enacted
Okay.
on the mayor's signature.
All right, thank you, Kane.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, we'll move. All right, we'll move down to agenda item 14, which is city manager comments. Mr. Penny.
Mayor and members of council, I have no comments.
Okay, we'll move down to agenda item 15. Are there any public comments? All right, seeing that there's no public comments, we'll move down to agenda item 16, which is consideration of a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters, real estate, and/or potential litigation in accordance with OCGA 50-14-3B. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Mr. Mayor, may I ask a question first? We've just approved the ordinance that we can't, that you do have the power to declare a state of emergency, but you haven't done that yet?
No, I have not.
Okay,
We have to first sign it first before we go into,
Maybe a couple minutes.
yeah.
so that, thank you.
All right.
Before we go into the executive session, I just had one other thing. With Georgia Southern being canceled, and all those students staying home, graduation being canceled, and the reason, when we were in the work session, I was talking about budgets and things like that. I realize you guys got a lot of stuff going on, but as things start settling down and we start moving forward, at some point, we need to look at what's the potential financial impact that we're going to take over the next 3 months. As all these students are gone, graduation, which is the single biggest weekend for hotels in the city, has been canceled. There's a possibility SOAR may be canceled in the summer. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff, and if we're going to, move forward with our budget retreat in April, we need to start looking at that. So I just wanted to put it down. And I'm sure you've already thought about it, but I'm going to bug it here.
No question.
Yeah, the economic impact of Georgia, the USG going online is going to hit many communities like us, and so that's been a part of the thought process. But with that being said, we just got to continue to hope for the best but prepare for the worst, and that budgeting process is going to be key to us being able to prioritize. What we do here locally. So, yeah, I think we're all on the same page with that, because this whole event is something I've never seen in my 46 years of living.
With basically the next 3 months of Georgia Southern canceled, what's the impact? We kind of know. I mean, you're going to see a 50% drop in the amount of revenue generated from restaurants.
Yeah.
And hotel motel tax is going to drop precipitously outside of budget projections. So, I mean, not everywhere, but there's going to be some certain.
Yeah, there's going to be a hit.
Take a big old hit.
Yeah,
Mayor, to some of that, I understand what Mr. Boyum is asking for, but I also would just say to Mayor and Council, as we have opportunities to interact with our state officials and our federal officials, as they're looking at stimulus, trying to help hold city harmless and providing some type of support, financial support should be something they should be thinking about as well. So I just want to, because I have seen states and the Fed, more states that when we've had natural disasters, and this is a public health, that they have made some communities, they've helped out when they've been financially impacted.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Mayor, one more thing. For the benefit of anybody who may be tuned in and watching at home that we set up because of the COVID, we'll turn it off during executive session and then turn it back on so folks can kind of stay tuned if they want to hear if there's any further announcements after we come out of executive session.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So, with that being said, is there a motion to go into executive session? All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. And we're going to waive the 10-minute mark because we don't have any